Hey, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? This is the legendary Founding Titan. So I know I've been keeping you guys updated with, thoughts I've had with, each predecessor update. But I got more of, like, last time with Legacy, it was a pretty good update. It was, it was fine. Pretty good. Loved going back to that map. I was pretty stoked about it, pretty excited about it. I played on it quite a bit, and it was amazing. Just, pretty much as I remembered it. But this one isn't going to be as much of a positive review as last time. So let me just jump right into it. I'm just gonna skip all the skins because I'm more interested in just the balances. And I've already looked through all the balances. I already looked through all the balance changes, but I want to like inform you guys to give you an idea of what's going on. So yeah, the objectives give you less XP. Nothing too crazy there. Just less XP for the objectives. So split pushing is more relevant instead of just having to go to every objective kind of deal. So just how it is. Some minor augment nerfs for. Pretty sure this is for. Oh no, it's Regenerator. Okay, yeah, my bad. I was confused. I thought for a second it was my bad. I thought for a second it was Boris for some reason because I saw Boris. Okay, never mind. Threw me off. My bad. But Regenerator, one of the minor augments, is getting a healing duration increase from 8 to 10 seconds. Total healing unchanged. The Farmer augment's getting nerfed. I didn't really use it that much apart from like characters like Richter. Well, in off lane, I mean, just so I can clear faster, but eh. Uh, Heroes. So of course Boris, we get his Chrono Swipe decrease from 85% to 70%. Healing growth, uh, just decreased from 124 to 118. His core healing decreased from 2.5. It's a slight difference in that. Um, yeah, 2 point. It's like its scaling is decreased basically. So plus 0.7 to 0.6. So not that crazy. But then his damage reduction gets nerfed 1% every level. So in late game it goes down 5% technically. So kind of iffy. Um, Countess max health healing per tick decreased. It's fine. Physical power decreased. Great, I guess. And then just her black her blade siphon alternate ability is getting a decrease in both damage and healing. Crunch is getting damage decreased as well. And then with it, yeah, that's with his left crunch, yeah. Decker's getting a nerf, with health going down from 2, getting her primary ability nerfed down to by 20 in late game, I mean. Magic power scaling increased though, so I don't think that's gonna really change anything. um Status bomb alternate is getting decreased by 20, not too big of a deal really. Um Drongo, I actually don't know Drongo that well. I rarely see him played, but I guess we're buffing him. Across the board looks like attack speed, mana growth increase, max health damage increase, just damage across the board is getting increased. It looks like. Like I said, I really don't know his abilities too well, as I rarely see him. So, Fagmao, his missing health is increased from 2% to 2.5. Damage dealt increase. He's just getting more damage dealt increased by there. Damage reduction increased. So that's a buff, right? Yeah. Yeah. Um, knock up height decreased from 220 to 200. Oh, it's an augment. Okay. I don't even know what that does actually. So I don't really play Fake Battle either. So physical power on his executive passive is increased by 2% in late game. Um, that's like when he gets. Isn't this like if you kill someone, you get like yeah, that's physical power, I think. So it's a decrease in late game, I guess. That's about it. Hamstring bonus physical power scaling decreased. Yeah, there's a slight nerfs here and there. Looks like. Uh, gadget getting looks like buffed. Sticky mine explosive radius is increased by 20 or 10%. Physical power decreased. Attack speed increased. Health regen decreased. Armor decreased. Um, Sticky mine's damage is increased. Targeting is no longer. Okay, so it's like luxury of life changes here. Looks like yeah, yeah. Okay. Greystone. Movement speed increased. Health decreased. Um, See, this is one of the issues I have is that we keep nerfing the frontliners, which I absolutely hate because at times it already feels like you die instantly. Like it really does feel like you just die instantly sometimes. Um, and we're just keep we keep nerfing Greystone's durability over and over and over again. He's not the only one. I'll get to that in a bit. But Grim gets nerfed. It looks like well, at least for his system restore augment, looks like that gets decreased. Um, Bat increased. I'm not sure what the heck Bat is. Is that is that like one of his abilities? I have no idea. Increased from 1.2 to 1.25. Uh, is that like his Oh no, this is a shield right here. Okay, whatever. I don't know then. Um, mana restore on his shield. Or sorry, mana restore decreased from 40 to 35%. So it is a nerf, which is kind of interesting because I don't really see Grim either that much. I feel I play ranked, and I rarely see him. The only time I don't see him is if teams ban Revenant and the other team picks Sparrow, and then you might see a Grim. But most of the time they'll either pick like Twin Blast or something in exchange. I don't know, or they'll pick Kyra. But I rarely see Grim. Grux, they nerfed my boy, I guess. They nerfed his damage by 5. Not too bad. Not really gonna change much. Mana cost changed from 50 to 40, so that's kind of weird. Uh, did they just make it to where it's 40 for every level? Early game is not. I mean, even early game is not gonna really change much if that's the case, but I don't know. Mana growth decreased from 60 to 55. Not really sure why we're nerfing his mana, but okay. Attack speed decreased from 100% to 95%. And we're making the cooldown on it a little longer. Not too much different. You're not going to really notice it that much. It's a slight nerf to Grux, but I feel like it's kind of unnecessary. I feel like the only thing that really needs nerfed on Grux, like as a Grux main myself, I personally think the only thing that really needs nerfed is his early game healing. Like it should be more like his healing on his club, his alternate attack should be like a scaling thing, like where it gets better as you upgrade it, rather than just being a flat like holy shit button that you just regenerate so much health. Because when I'm fighting Grux, when I'm fighting Grux or when I'm playing as Grux, it's kind of hard to beat Grux sometimes when he's just able to heal so much. You can't like immediately rush to anti heal. I mean you can, but you're gonna the first 10 minutes is gonna be hell for you because you just can't really beat him because he just heals a lot. But um, I feel like it just his healing should just get better over time. But instead it's just like a huge buff. I mean, technically it does get better over time because the more health you have, it gets better. But you know. I rest my case. Really, it's just early game. It's just way. It seems kind of strong, but I don't think damage and attack speed are really the answer. To be honest, maybe it's better with healing being. I don't know. I mean, to be fair, as a Grux main, I'd rather want my healing to be better rather than have my damage be higher. So I guess this is okay, but it's just kind of weird that they actually really feel that way that Grux needs a nerf. Uh, they're looking at the wrong thing at the early game because this seems like an early game thing, right? This seems like an early game thing that they're nerfing, but that's not the main thing that makes them strong early game. Iggy and Scorch, Molotov bonus increase. Why Buffy his damage, dude? He already does so much damage. Flame turret, magic. Okay, that's how we're doing that. Nerfing his turret scaling, on his turrets, and then we're nerfing the turret's armor. I didn't even realize they had armor. To be honest with you, they die instantly. Um, Interesting. I mean, even minions could kill him instantly. Chimera. Um, yeah, just like a nerf early game, which is kind of dumb. It, with his jungle opponent and finding himself too fragile. Excuse me. You just said that he's too fragile, and then we're nerfing his base health, but we're buffing his growth. Wouldn't you just buff both? Okay. So you're gonna be able to like easily just gank Chimera early game, I guess, since he has like no health at all. Right. And just kill him, body him. I don't know. And then his cooldown on his primary is it it's less early game, so it's still the same late game. It's interesting. Ambush is slow increased. The duration is decreased. I feel like you're not gonna really notice that, but I think it's probably better that way. Kyra, health decreased, damage increased, physical power scaling decreased. I like how they keep nerfing the damage characters to be slightly more squishy, but then they make their damages higher. It's like, well, I guess get his their scaling is nerfed, but the base damage is higher. But they do that all the time. Like they'll buff like their scaling on things or their base damage on things, and then they'll just nerf their HP. Like even though like this character already does like a fuck ton of damage, they're just like, yeah, we'll just make them squishier and then make them do even more damage, just so people don't have an excuse to say, well, she's too OP. Yeah, but we took 2 health off. It's like, yeah, it makes so little of a difference to even notice, but whatever. Um, I mean, what is that? Health growth decrease? That's like what, 20 health late game? Yeah, you're not gonna notice that, buddy. You're not gonna notice that at all compared to this. Anyway, um, I'm trying to like go through these fast because I'm about to snap. You know, I'm trying. So stick with me. Bellica, um, physical power decreased, attack speed decreased, mana decreased. Is she even that good? I don't even know. I mean, I know her stun's like really oppressive and really annoying to deal with, but like I don't find her like that tough. Bellica? I feel like she has to be pretty strong just to be relevant because she has no get out of jail free card. Once you're on her, she's dead. Um, Same as Mortgage, kind of at times, and we're nerfing her too, I guess. I mean, I granted, Granted, I think she does need a nerf in the sense that she shouldn't be playing off lane every game. Because in ranked, I'm always fighting fucking Morgish because like magic users are just so OP right now. Because I nerfed magic armor in the last patch so badly. But and magic armor already sucked. But yeah, I don't, I don't care. Whatever. I'm moving on anyway. Morn, mana decreased, mana growth decreased, health regen decreased slightly. Damage bonus health decreased. Damage bonus scaling decreased from 8% to 7%. Uh, Not too big of a difference. All this is fine. Mana cost is decreased from everything here. Uh, Murdoch never skips a leg day. Movement speed increased from okay, gets a slight increase. Miro gets a slight HP nerf, or no, sorry, increase, slight health increase. My bad. Narbash gets a health growth decrease, a physical armor decreased, attack speed decrease because you know why not? He already dies instantly. Let's make him die faster, shall we? Yes. Phase, like seriously, why are we nerfing him? And durability, like seriously. I mean, attack speed, whatever, but like seriously, you gotta nerf these two things, and he's already building like only healing items. He's already like one tap in late game. I get stunned once as Narbash, and I'm probably gonna die. I'm probably gonna die. If you don't have True Silver, which you probably should have True Silver every game on him, but like if I once my shield goes down when I'm using my ult, I'm fucked. That shield's like his only saving grace, and it's like, eh, whatever. Uh, did I already talk about phase? Phase healing, magic power scaling increased to 30 to 40%. Or lance ability increased to 2.5%. Rampage health decreased from 710 to 700. Mana decreased. Yada yada yada. Point is, his durability is getting nerfed. He's already not even like that much of a tank anymore. Um, Ever since they did the augment changes, they made Rampage from a tank to just a bruiser at this point. Uh, Especially like he was already kind of like a character like where you could build bruiser or you could build tank with him, but now he's only a bruiser. That he's only a fucking bruiser. Like that, like really. Reyna, there's so much stuff here. I'm guessing it's all nerfs though, right? Yeah, just straight up nerfs because she was the new character, yada yada yada. She was broken, yada yada yada. They did that on purpose, yada yada yada, as they always do. Revenants, Hellfire rounds is getting increased. Are you kidding me? A small bump. Are you telling me that you think Revenant? You're telling me that Revenant wasn't relevant to the other carries? Do they even play the game? Literally, like the two carries. Literally, I'm in freaking now. I'm not that high in range because the playstyle I play always gets nerfed every patch. But I was in gold one. I was in gold one fighting plat players and everything. Fighting plat players in gold one. All right. I have always seen either Revenant or Sparrow. Always. And it's because they do by far the most damage. And we're buffing them even more. This motherfucker can easily hit 1,000 damage with 3 cards. You get literally Executioner, you get Imperator, and you get Terminus. You have decent lifesteal. You have a shield. As you get that lifesteal online, you get a shield, right? And you already have 60% crit chance, while also having crit damage multiplier. On top of that, your Hellfire rounds do health damage increase, and they also ignore, like, I think it was like 15 or so percent armor. You already, without even getting a pen card, you already have the potential to shred a tank because of your augment alone. You can root someone with your E onto your Q. You can E them, Q them, and then they're rooted to the ground. And just by that one root, you can put enough damage on them to almost kill them. Especially if you have a Richter with you and they pull that person as soon as you root them. And you mean to tell me that this motherfucker is quote unquote like not as strong? He's not in the middle ground, dude. He's on the top of the leaderboard. What, dude? That's the only characters I see is Revenant and Sparrow. Okay, whatever. We're buffing him for no reason. This dude already hits like a goddamn freight train. If there's any issue, if there is any issue with Revenant, I can promise you it's not his damage. More than likely, it's just because characters like Grux, Richter are being played. Characters that can pull him out of his bad, like into bad positions. That's it. It's never gonna be because he doesn't do enough damage. I can promise you that. He does so much damage. Does some of the highest damage in the game easily. Anyway, yeah. So we're nerfing Rick. So on top of buffing the most like powerful carry in the game, in my opinion, apart from Sparrow, um, we're also buffing Richter because why not? So we're buffing him, or sorry, we're nerfing him. Sorry, we're nerfing him. We're nerfing his health. We're nerfing his health regen, and we're gonna nerf his health scaling because why not on his shield? Even though the passive on his shield kind of already sucks because it's not really good for him. I feel unless like you ult the entire enemy team, only then will your shield actually be a huge difference. But um, I still feel like the change with Steel's augment and Richter's augment when they swapped each other's augments off, I still think that was a bad move because it doesn't make any sense. Because Steel is far more aggressive than Richter. That's the thing. Steel is far more aggressive than Richter because he's one to charge in there, stun people. It made sense for every ability that Steel did to give him shields because he was always just getting in there. Richter having a shield that regenerated out of combat made a lot more sense because Richter isn't one to charge into battle, but rather he is a character that is looking for the best opportunity to hook someone and then proceed to move into battle. So being able to regenerate a shield out of combat to find a better opportunity, that was great for Richter. Having their passes being swapped out was just stupid in my opinion. I feel like their passes were more suited for what they had before instead of what they have now. It's such a dumb change in my opinion. I still hate that change, but we're nerfing it and it doesn't make any sense. I don't know why we're so against tanks in this game. I really don't. And it says here, Richter general durability allows him to position with too much freedom and currently and given his immense whiplash pressure. Yo, you know what the problem actually is? I can promise you it's not this. I can promise you it's not this. You want to know why? I can promise you, it's not that. It's because Richter, no matter who I play as, uh, I will still die in like 6 seconds. Okay, the most I can ever last as a tank is maybe 10 seconds, and that's if I'm fed. That's if I have the catalytic drive stacked, right, fully stacked. So I have that conversion on. I have another card over the enemy team. I have an extra card over the enemy team. They have 3 cards. I have 4. Let's just say that. I have some of the most expensive tank games in the game. I have, let's just say, I have the energy conversion thing. I have Fire Blossom. I have Tainted Guard, and I have Stonewall. Only then, and they only have 3 cards because at that point they haven't really their carries haven't built pen yet. Only then am I actually tanking. Only then, in that circumstance, am I actually feeling like a tank. Outside of that, no, I'm dying. And even then, even in that situation, I would still die pretty fucking fast. Durability is never the issue in this fucking game because damage is way higher, way more relevant. So this is where I just start going on a tangent because I'm about to lose it. So they keep nerfing these characters. They keep nerfing all the tanks, and Uh, just to prove my point even further, let's just go down here. Sarah. Okay, we'll just go through Serath real quick. Serath cooldown decreased from 14. Actually, it's only in early games decreased. Okay, whatever. Um, Salvrog stacks decreased. Omnivamp decreased. Tier 3 ultimate cooldown decreased. That's fine. Should it be magic scaling increased from 50 to 55? Or sorry, did I say increase or decrease? Increased. It's increased. Magic power scaling increased from 40 to 45% on her ultimate ability. Magic power scaling increased on her ultimate by 3%. Uh, Sparrow movement speed decreased on her augment by 30%. Uh, her ultimate self slow increased from 32 to 35%. It's not the worst idea, I guess, but cooldown is longer early game. Steel, there's the other tank getting nerfed. They have been nerfing Richter and Steel for like the past like 5 patches. Nerfing their health regen, nerfing their armor, like dude, even when I first started playing this game, tanks did not feel good. Tanks have only been getting battered and battered and battered and battered. Why? Why are we so against tanks being actually able to do their job properly? I don't understand. Tanks are so irrelevant. Especially like once you fall a little bit behind as a tank, you're completely fucking useless. Like I am dead ass. It shouldn't be like this. I played Smite like I was playing Smite the other day and it felt, you know, as much as I don't like Smite compared to Predecessor because I just prefer the characters honestly. I prefer the characters, I prefer how they feel. I don't know. There's just something about Predecessor or these characters I just prefer over Smite. I always have. It's always how I've been. But when I played Predecessor or when I played Smite, the tanks felt fucking they felt like tanks, right? They felt like tanks. Like I felt like I can do what I needed to do as a tank in that game. The problem isn't that tanks are too tanky in this game. The problem is that they do too much damage. I've been saying that from ground zero, from when I first started the game. If you look back at my first Predecessor game, me and my friend are literally discussing how it feels like tanks, like despite how, we're only building like tank cards and stuff like that. We were literally saying at the very beginning that it felt like we were killing the enemy too fast, and we were. We were too tanky, and we were killing them fast. And it's always been the issue. We've noticed that from day one from playing this game. It's because every single item from tanks scales off of HP, which like every single damage item, you got Fire Blossom, which they have nerfed quite a bit, but there's still Ela Frost. There's still fire. There's still the Fist of Azul, which heals you based off your health. There is a lot of items in this game that also Sapphire's Mantle gives you a burst of damage. There is a lot of items in this game that just simply give you more damage just based off your health. And that's been the problem. Because yeah, like smite tanks do a significantly less damage than the tanks in this game. It's because of that very reason. It's because smite tanks don't scale off of HP for their damage. So their damage really never changes from the very beginning. It doesn't really change a whole lot, at least for the most part. Right. But the smite tanks are also way tankier. They are significantly tankier than the tanks in this game. Like significantly tankier. It's like a whole other world. Like I can actually go into an objective and not die instantly. Even when I'm behind on Smite, I can still get in there as a support and do my job. I can't do that in Pred. Every time I do, I look like a fucking idiot because I just die instantly. And then it's so stupid because you're like, why should I as a tank have to play just as cautious, if not more cautious than a mid laner? I had to play so cautious with every single move that I do as a tank. That should not be the case. Like, yes, there should be caution at all times. Yeah, if you're trying to dump onto an enemy team, yeah, there definitely needs to be caution. But why should it be so much so to like if I'm defending an inhib, if I'm defending my allies inhib, and I see an opportunity to get someone stunned, and I move up, but because I'm so weak as a tank, I just die instantly just by moving up on someone. Like, how is that fair? How is that fucking fair for me to die instantly after I stun one guy? Why is it fair for them to just be able to, body me instantly when my only job is to tank and I can't do it? My only job is to tank and I can't do it. That is pretty fucking sad. You notice that bruisers at the end of the match have nearly the same amount of damage taken as the tanks normally. I don't know if you ever noticed that, but it's true. Yeah, the tanks have more damage mitigated, sure, but 90% of the time, it's not by much compared to the bruisers. Bruisers are just significantly better. And what I mean by bruisers are like characters that build like Grux, for instance. Like characters like him can just go health and damage, and that's perfectly fine. They'll do just as well as a tank, as a full blown tank, in durability sense, because they have more tools. And I'm not saying that bruisers are so good in the front line that they should just be looked at more than tanks, because they will die just as fast as a tank. But my point is, why is armor so useless? Armor means almost nothing because these items are so strong against tanks. But we keep nerfing them. We keep nerfing tanks anyway, despite me. I mean, you've seen the videos. You've seen many videos of me just dying almost instantly as a full tank. I seen another video where someone played Rampage. They had 8k health. They died instantly. It's never about their ability. It's never about their ability that makes these guys tank or too strong. It's because the items are very strong. It's because the items they give the tanks too much damage. They're a lot beefier by comparison to a damager. Sure, yes, I'll admit that they're a lot more durable than a damager, but they also do like half their damage. That's the problem, and they have stuns. They'll do like 40, like it's like 40%. They'll do 40% of a carry's damage because of how much health damage they get, because of how much damage they get from from their items that they do more damage off their health. That's the problem. We've been saying it from the start. Me and my friend have been saying that from the very beginning, and they just keep nerfing them. No, they keep nerfing them. For the Fae, health decreased from 720 to 710. Health regen 1.5 to 1.3. Mana decrease 500 to 480. Primary slow decrease from 45 to 35%. Yada yada yada. Twin Blast, physical power scaling decrease. Wukong, health to growth decreased, even though he's already class. Uriel, ultimate cooldown reduction decreased from 10% to 8%. Health decreased. Physical armor decreased, mana decreased, attack speed decreased, total. Yep. Soul health decreased, yeah. Physical armor or physical power to scaling decrease, increased, blah 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 blah. Ultimate soul decrease, yeah. Okay. Basically a basically a lot of nerfs there. Zarus, health decreased, armor decreased. Another character that I was playing, Zarus. See, this is my issue with this game. They change characters far too often. The moment I get used to them, I've had to adapt to so many different characters because they keep nerfing the guys I'm playing. I shouldn't have to keep changing characters every other week. Or sorry, every week at this point. They make so many different patch notes, and I have to keep playing another character every week to try to rank up in ranked. Because my character either gets hit too fucking hard in nerfs, or someone else gets too highly buffed. And this is another example. Let me tell you something, because I discovered another build. I discovered another build with Zarus that was a lot of fun. It was with his augment that gave him physical power and health. So I decided to go in deeper with that. I decided to go Overlord, right? Because, Zarus does struggle with, clearing waves. Well, not really, but, it was a weakness I did see, kinda, because he just didn't really have a cleave. He didn't have a wave clear, technically. He only had the spear, which was good, but, it wasn't good enough for me. So I decided, let's make his wave clear better. I get Overlord on there. Then I decided, hey, let's get some a little bit of armor going. Let's get some more damage based off his health in there. So I get the Ages of Agor. I put that as a second item. And then my third item would be like, since those two first items do more damage based off my health, I decided, hey, let's go Remnant of Renewal. Let's go Fist Azul. Let's go, you know, I think I went I forget my fourth item. It might have been or fifth item. I mean, it might have been Void Helm. I think it was Void Helm. I went, and then I went Fire Blossom because Fire Blossom gave me armor as well. I didn't go in that particular order, by the way, but still, I think I went Fire Blossom third, Void Helm fourth, and then I probably went Remnant of Renewal fifth, and then or Fist of Renewal fifth, and then my final item would have been Remnant of Renewal. And I went Sapphire's Mantle, so I would have full chemistry basically. I would have a full thing of just health and power type of deal, right? If I needed to, I would switch out fire blossom with tainted guard if I needed to deal with healing. But yeah, that was my build. That was my build with Zarus, and it was working well. But this nerfs that. I've been trying to get good with Zarus. I've been trying to train with him and stuff. And then they do this. The nerf is HP growth, and the nerf is armor growth. So his early game, like I was already kind of struggling with the early game because I was just having to build a stacking item, and now I'm gonna struggle even more. So more than likely, it's not gonna be relevant now. My build. I am so sick of having to change up my playstyle just because they feel that their ability is just too high in this game, which is not. So this is kind of the part of the video where I just go on a full-on tangent because there's not really that many things left. Oh yeah, there isn't. Yeah, that's just items next, which I don't care to talk about. So, out of the characters you saw, Zarus, Richter, Rampage, Steel, you notice something in common with all of them? There's more on the list though, but all the characters, pretty much every character on his list, every character gets a health decrease. Every character gets a health or armor decrease, or both. So, meanwhile, when I was playing ranked, I would stick to a focus. I would focus on three roles, right? I figured three roles was enough to play, right? If you're good at three roles, I think, especially at lower brackets like gold and stuff, I think that's all you need to do for now. That's what I was thinking, right? And it works pretty much every time. I did get my roles. I pretty much always got at least one of my three roles, which was support, jungle, and off lane. Well, they nerfed every character that I played. They've nerfed my boy Narbash in this patch. And it's not like this is the only patch that has done this too. Like they've been nerfing the same characters I played for like the last 3 or 4 patches for no reason. Um, yeah, they nerfed the Richter, they nerfed Steel, they nerfed Narbash, they nerfed Zarus. I used to play Terra and I used to play Rampage. They used to be great tanks. Now that's not the case. After their nerfs, I had to, because I like to play tanky characters. This is who I am. I like to play tanky characters. Um, and they were great. They worked well as tanks. Terra and Rampage worked well as tanks, but now they don't. If you try to fight another Rampage as a tank and they're a bruiser, you'll lose every time easily. Same as Terra. So I dropped those two characters. I stopped playing them. I went to play Richter. I went to play Steel. I try to play. Of course, I play Grux all the time, as he's my main. Uh, him and Grux and Richter are my mains. If I can't get one of them, I'll play the other guys. I'll play Steel. I'll play Narbash. I'll play Zarus. All right. Well, here's the thing. The only reason I started playing Zarus, because I wanted to try to find people to replace the two characters that I lost, because I know I had to find more characters because I was running out of characters to play after I didn't really like playing Rampage or Terra anymore after their tank side kind of got shot to the hell. So I decided to play Zarus, and I decided to pick up Morn. Well, actually, I picked up Morn first, and then I picked up Zarus later. And I started liking those two characters. The two characters, they made. I started to actually like them. I started to appreciate Zarus actually, and I used to hate him. But I started to like him because I noticed like, wow, his shield thing is really good. It reduces a lot of damage when you're moving with it. They nerfed that last patch, I'm pretty sure. Where it was like reduced damage by 75% while you're moving with it. It was a great counter to characters like fucking Sparrow because you could stun her the moment you get close to her after she would try to ult your ass to death. You could literally use that, reduce the damage, walk to her. Now you can't. I mean, you still can, but you'll take a shit ton of damage from it now. Because I'm pretty sure they nerfed his thing from like 75% to 25%. Unless I'm thinking of Steel. I don't know. There's been so many nerfs on my guys, I just don't remember. I know Steel's been getting hit hard, though. His augment went from like. His augment got hit hard. Like, I think his augment got ripped in half for how much damage he could reduce while he's charging. Not really sure why they felt the need to do that at all. But, whatever. Um, so the point is, I can't ever get a break. I can't ever get a break because every single patch I'm getting nerfed to hell with every character. I have to constantly change my playstyle. I gotta constantly change my build because I keep nerfing my items as well. They nerfed uh what was it? I know they nerfed. I think they nerfed Take the Guard a bit. They nerfed its ability haste, so it hurt my early game ability haste because having weak ability haste in early game sucks, especially for characters like Severog. Not that you build Take the Guard first on him unless you're building against a Grux or something, but still, I have to constantly adapt to their bullshit for no reason. And at this point, I'm done. I had to adapt to making two more characters fit in my roster after I saw Terror and Rampage get nerfed to the ground for their tank side of things. I just don't think they're really great tanks anymore. Same as Greystone. Greystone used to be a great tank. I think, after this patch especially, and the last patch they had when they nerfed him again there, um, I think he's more just only a bruiser as well now. They just want to make everyone in this game a fucking bruiser. If you were to ask me, hey, which characters are tanky? I'd say, none of them. None of the characters are really that well fitted for a tank anymore. You might be saying, well, what about Steel? Well, Steel is only really good for support now. Steel used to be a great offlaner, but now he's only really good at, like, support. After they nerfed his HP so much, and they nerfed magic defense across the board by like 20 something percent. I think it was like 22% for melee characters. That 22% of melee characters magic defense got nerfed, which makes characters like Morgesh, Iggy. I like every single time I'm playing ranked, I'm only fighting a fucking mage. Have I got good at fighting them? Yeah, yeah, I have because most of the time they're really aggressive, but it's not fun. It's not fun having to fight a fucking mage every game. And the thing is, in late game, it doesn't matter. I can beat them in the lane, but in a team fight, I can't because with two mages on the team now, it just makes me being able to tank irrelevant because I can't tank them because magic defense sucks. All the magic defense items apart from two. Well, okay, there's three technically you could get. There's catalytic drive, but most of the time in ranked, you just can't stack that thing. It's like you can't stack it fast enough. The match is too fast, right? It's too fast, and the problem is like if you're, let's just say for instance, your offlaner goes to the objective, and you just want to try to stack catalytic drive and push their tower. The problem with doing that is you do so little damage with catalytic drive first that you just can't push a tower or do damage. You can't apply pressure at all. You can't apply pressure, which means that the only option is to follow them through the portal and go help your guys in Fangtooth, which is fine, all, but you still don't solve the problem of trying to stack that freaking item, which takes forever to stack. So Catalytic drives out of the picture. Then you have Tainted Bastion. Well, Tainted Bastion is a great item, as it counters their healing. It's a mitigation item. The problem with Tainted Bastion though is it doesn't give you any clearing. It doesn't give you any sustain. You don't have damage. You don't have sustain. You're weak as hell, even with it still. So Tainted Bastion, while it's good, it's a terrible starter. Okay, well, what about Voidhelm? Well, Voidhelm is really good, especially for characters like Grux. But the problem with it is that, of course, you just don't have any damage. You don't have enough damage. And that's the problem with every single magic defense item. There's not enough damage, or there's just it's just not good enough. You fall behind clear, you fall behind towers, you fall behind objectives, you fall behind your opponent. You fall behind them entirely because at the end of the game, at the end of the day, damage beats all, and tanks can't adapt to that because they're not tanky enough. So the only option that you can go for is you just go power and health items, which leads to bruisers. Bruisers are the only optimal choice in the meta. Tanks can't really fit anywhere in the meta. Yeah, they can have some games. The only way that you could really have a tank is like jungle. But even then, you'll fall behind farm because typically, especially if you're fighting an enemy chimera, your team just goes, you know, 0 and 10 in like 5 minutes. You take too long to clear. Your jungle camps eventually get stolen by those chimeras, or Gruxes, or whoever else is in the jungle, and you just fall behind still. So, and I know how to build my tanks. I know how to build them: Fire Blossom, Ela Frost, whatever. It's been the same builds for like ever. It hasn't changed. All right, but that comes back to my point though. Tanks really have nowhere to fit. Support lane's really the best place you can get them, and it takes too long to come online. You are forced to just go with the support items because it just takes you way too long to actually make relevancy as a tank in support lane because you're support. You're not supposed to get these items, but it's the only time that a tank really feels like they can actually do their job because it's the slowest. Support is the slowest play style, and it's the only way I can really feel like I can play as a tank at times. I'm not saying there's never been a game where I can't do well as a tank, but I'm saying it's like more often than not I could do far better as a bruiser. Like more often than not I could do way better as a bruiser. And that's where it comes down to. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of the game just not changing for my benefit. I had to change for it. They just are anti-tank. They hate tanks in this game. They do. Not only do tanks get some of the worst crests, in my opinion. I mean, whose crest is better? Like whose crest is actually worse than a tank? Tell me. Can you think of one? I can tell you, warriors have better crests. The ice talons, while they aren't the best warrior ones in my opinion, they still offered a buff to the entire team. They offered a buff to the entire team, which is very useful in like Fangtooth. It's very useful for Prime. You get Judgment. That's really good for sustain. You get the brutal axe, or what's it called, the axe, which is great for tenacity. Absolutely fantastic for tenacity. You think any of the tank ones are better than that? No. The problem is, it's like the boots. Like I don't care what anyone says. The boots for tanks, like the war boots, are they're trash. All right, they're straight up trash. Like me and my friend were discussing it, and yeah, we don't think they're good at all. Um, Saphir's Mantle. while it does have the infinite potential of getting you, well, infinite amounts of health, it's only really relevant in like late game when you have like 300 or 400 stacks on it. Um, and even then, it's not doing you much service. The only reason you go for Samfar's Mantle is because you want to do more damage with your items. You want to do more damage with your HP scaling. You're not getting it for the HP because the HP doesn't really mean anything. Oh, you got 300 more health. Wow, that's like one. That's like not even a shot from a carry late game because a carry will hit you for like 400 or 500, even if you have armor. um, yeah. Oh, you want it? You want to go? What's it called? You want to go Razorback? Oh, that lasts 6 seconds. Meanwhile, a warrior can spam Judgment. I'm not saying that the tanks don't last longer than warriors. I'm just saying that they had the worst crests. They had the worst crests, some of their worst items anymore, and because of their stats being reduced more and more and more and more, it makes rangers in the off lane more relevant now. And they were already a pain in the ass to deal with in the first place. So, what it comes down to is I feel like at this rate, I don't really want to play the game anymore. I'm not having fun anymore. Because every single game I have to build either a bruiser or a support. I can't get my tank play style ever. I have to play what the game wants me to play, which is a bruiser. Because every character is basically a bruiser now. Because tanks are just so irrelevant. You can't really play tank in offlane at all. Apart from maybe like Sevrog. And Sevrog, I would say, is more of a bruiser as well with his items. Because you want to typically you want to build like typically you want to build Fire Blossom. You might want to go for Catalytic Drive, depending on what you want to go for. But you want to go at least one of those tank items. You want to go Magnify. You want, you might want Orb of Growth because that gives you a lot of health. Uh, Maybe not Orb of Growth, but maybe just. I mean, you could go Orb of Growth or Magnify. I guess it doesn't really matter between either one, but still, it's just like you still need at least one or two items for Sevrog to make him really good. You still need at least two damage items, one or two damage items, and his build is more fitted for a bruiser. So, um, yeah, I don't know. Tags are just not fun. The only tag in the game right now is Morn. That's what I would say. The only tag in the game is Morn, and God knows how long that's gonna last. So, um, yeah, I'm actually gonna be not playing this game anymore. Until I see a fix, I don't really care. I don't care to play it anymore. I don't play to care Legacy anymore because while the map is great, I mean Legacy's great. The problem is, I'm not having fun because I can't play my play style. I mean, I know it's no big deal for anyone else, but if I can't play a tank, why should they be able to play a damager? That's what I gotta say about that. Why should they keep getting buffs and buffs and buffs while I keep getting nerfs and nerfs and nerfs and I gotta keep constantly changing characters and everything? Because that's what pisses me off. I can't main one character like they can. I can't. I can't main one. Like, if I want to rank up and ranked, I can't just stick with like one or two characters like they can. Because no matter what they do, it's always relevant. No matter what damage cards they throw on, their characters, it's always relevant. My characters won't be relevant. My characters will just keep getting bodied and bodied and bodied, and I gotta constantly adapt and change my build and change a different character, and I'm done. So until I see a fix in this, because I don't even know who else to go to now. There is no one else to go to. I've literally went through every frontline character, and they've nerfed every single one of them. They nerfed every single one of them. I've already established that I feel like tanks have been shit for a while now, and they just keep nerfing them more and more and more and more and more. Smite tanks are amazing. I played Smite, and then, dude, I can literally tank ults. I can tank the tower. I can tank so much more in that game. And the worst part is, I was in Joust. I was in Joust, which means I couldn't go for my starter items, so I could have even been tankier in a normal game. And I felt incredibly tanky in Smite. This game, I feel like a fucking worm running around. I feel like I have to play just as cautious, if not more cautious, than a damager. And when you have that type of feeling, what's the point of playing a tank to begin with? Without any further ado, that's it. I've pretty much made my piece on it. Like I said, there's gonna be a lot more negative, but it's just how it is. If you guys enjoyed, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye, everyone. I but this will be the last video I make for a while for Predecessor. I'm just gonna continue my Skyrim series, where I can actually build a tank and not deal with this horse shit. Cause I'm done. I'm done with it. I am so tired of it. Tired of all the horse shit. I just want to move on. The legacy map was amazing, but because of their balance being so horrendously bad, I just can't. I might jump back in it when my friend gets his computer, but I I don't even think he'll like this much anymore because they've changed the game so much since he's left. He's probably not gonna like the game for long either. So yeah, we'll see what happens when he. I'll even make a video of his reaction on it. But yeah, that's all I have for now. This is Legendary Falcon Titan signing off. Peace.